And welcome back to the Huge Boob Corner. I am your host, Peter McLean, and I just want to say if you want to keep supporting the show, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. It really helps. So today, my guest is an extraordinarily gorgeous and busty woman who gave up her life as a corporate executive to go into the adult entertainment industry. So I'm really excited to get into that with her. Would you please welcome Taylor Vixxen?
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. How you doing?
I am fabulous.
Yep. Well, and yeah, because you got when did you so you recently changed your hair? You were blonde for a while now?
I was blonde forever.
Really?
And
Okay.
I changed it 2 days ago.
Really? What precipitate, was it just you wanted something different?
Something different, ready to get past the Pamela Anderson, I guess we would say 80s porn star type
or
look.
Even 90s, because they
90s,
still,
yeah. So, I mean, I was just looking for something different. So I thought I'd make a change. Wintertime is a good time to go darker. So
Yeah. Well, it looks terrific.
Thank you.
So is it weird seeing yourself with a different hair color?
It's really weird. It's really weird. And so now it's so funny because all my pictures are like outdated. So I have to go redo everything, which is kind of fun, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
I love it.
Did you worry that it might make you a little unrecognizable in a way?
Oh, everybody, I posted a photo saying something like there's a new MILF in town, and then people are like, who is that? Who is that? So yeah.
All right. Okay. So let's begin with the fact that you were in a corporate job for how long?
18 years.
18 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So first off, can you say what company, or would you rather not?
Well, it was multiple companies, but I was in the
Okay.
finance field. And so multiple companies, I was with a big IT company I was with for 13 years.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, and that was my career, MBA, bachelor's degree, very normal, very vanilla, very golf club, country club type life. I got really sick of being in a lifestyle. I kind of saw both sides. So I was working in, as an executive, vice president, but also being in the lifestyle with people that were very open-minded and non-judgmental, which was kind of what drew me to it. So they were all doing, the OnlyFans craze took off, and I wasn't really able to do that because of my job.
Yeah.
So, everybody would be like, oh, let's film content. And I couldn't do it because I couldn't be out there. Kind of, everything was very Instagram friendly, pushed the boundaries a little bit, but I kept that very private, very private. I showed my face and stuff. So I was open about the lifestyle, but I couldn't do anything further. I couldn't really do content creation or anything like that. So anytime there would be experiences, I would maybe film them, but it was mostly from my personal stuff, not to put out there. And so finally I just got sick of it. I had stuff happen at my career that I didn't like, stuff with deals and things like that I kind of just didn't like the way things are going, judgment. And I finally just said at the beginning of this year, I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm done with this. And I was going to just go like the OnlyFans content creation route. But then I decided, someone asked me, they're like, are you going to do mainstream? And I was like, what's that? I had no idea. And so I just kind of dove in head first, and here I am.
Okay.
So
when you were in college, did you know that was the route you were going to go for finance and stuff like that? Like that's what you were planning on because was it because you had an interest, or was it more like it was good money, or what was it that drew you to it initially?
It was just kind of what I always planned on doing. And I started off doing accounting, and I was doing like auditing, and I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I was in podunk towns with, awful, like little small town America, like valuing a pile of concrete. And it was just like, this is not for me. So I decided then that was not for me. So then I did real estate for a while. So then I went the finance route. And so I liked that and kind of stuck with that for as long as I was in that. So
how high did you end up getting by the end? You were vice president?
Yeah, vice president.
Okay. How long, and what was that like to go that, because I don't know if the corporate landscape has changed in the last few decades, or if it's different in terms of like, was that something that you aspired to? Was it just like you were so good at your job that you just kept getting elevated?
Yeah. I mean, I did well. I liked it. It was something that was comfortable to me. So it was more, when you're familiar with something, it's, you can be really confident speaking about it and selling and that kind of thing. I will say that the interest rate, hike of recent, the last 4 or 5 years. 4 years has been really challenging. It was really challenging. It put definite strain on, when you're doing financing and things like that. So so that was probably added to the
well, and the fact that like property values stayed high too. They didn't go down as a result. So it's like when interest rates are high and the property, I don't know if, because you're in real estate, that it seems that.
Well, I was in real estate. I didn't do real estate. I didn't really do real estate towards the end of my career, but I did real estate like before I got into finance. So.
Okay. And so was like, what was it about finance that you liked? Was it just that was it just something that you've always been into in terms of?
I think it was just something that I surprisingly was good at. And it came naturally to me, being in front of people, selling to people face to face, that kind of thing. As far as interest in financing and stuff like that, it was something that was just very easy for me, I guess you could say. So I was successful at it and I enjoyed it. So when you're, both successful in something you enjoy, it just kind of snowballed from there.
Well, that's cool. And I mean, and you liked it for a while until towards the end where you stopped liking it.
Right.
And that was that, and again, that was because since you're in the lifestyle that you didn't feel like you could express yourself in certain ways or do things that you wanted to do, or was that the frustrations you were having in your corporate job were just separate already?
Those were separate already as far as just some things that were happening at the job. Things happened and they didn't go the way that you wanted them to. So it happened a couple times and I said, okay, enough of this. So that combined with not being able to, the very, I would say double standard, you've got guys, probably half of the guys at the company are on porn, but if I do it or if I even have an OnlyFans, and that's just very taboo. And so I kind of just got sick of that. I felt it wasn't fair. And that's pretty much the way society is as a whole. I wouldn't say it was anything that was particular to where I worked. I pretty much think every company's got things like ethics clauses and things like that in employment agreements and things like that. So,
well, I was going to say, if male executives did only, do you think they would not get fired? Like if they had their own?
No, I'm sure they would, but I mean, again, it's a double standard. Like you can be on it, you can be a user, and not probably have any issues. Not that you're blasting that around. I'm sure they just have to assume that you are. Some guys probably aren't, but I think more guys than not are probably on some sort of sites.
Sure.
As a general, consensus.
So yeah. Well, okay. So now would you say like that there were skills though and certain ways of being in that world that translated to when you started doing adult work that were really helpful?
I thought that, but it's kind of being the salesman I am in the corporate world. I'm a little different than that when it's me, when I'm selling me. And it's funny because I really thought I would be better at it, but that's not really who I am. I think I'm more humble and I'm more reserved, and I don't I love doing for example, I love doing a one-on-one Skype session with somebody versus being on a live and being out there and saying, hey guys, give me tips. But I would do Instagram Live all the time, even before my career. And I love that because it's just me being out there. I'm not trying to get stuff from people. That's just me. That's who I am. I like to have fun. I like the one-on-one Skype sessions a lot better because it's just me one-on-one with somebody. So I enjoy that. I still love doing the lives, but I don't like to do it where I'm trying to get people to give me tips. I like to do it because it's just fun.
Yeah. So. Did you have stress at the corporate job after a while, or were you always kind of able to let that? Because I know finance can be a very stressful field.
Yeah, I mean it's always stressful. I mean when you're trying to pay the bills, anything you do is going to be stressful. So when things are going great, it's great, and when things are not going great, it's stressful.
Okay, I guess adult work can be similar to that too.
You put a lot into something. Let's say it's a deal or whatever on the finance side. You put a lot, and you work hard, and then it doesn't come to fruition for whatever reason. Usually through no fault of your own. It's just whatever. It sucks because you kind of put all your eggs in one basket, so to speak, thinking that something's going to happen, and so you kind of. I guess that in your life, in my life, I've kind of done the same thing. It's you kind of try to not count your chickens before they hatch, if you will.
Okay.
So try not to get disappointed when things don't go your way if you're not expecting them to.
Okay. Yeah. True.
Pleasantly surprised when they do.
Yeah.
So.
do you have like interest, like just personal interest in things like, stocks or investing and stuff like, is that stuff that like as a hobby maybe now that you would, or is that you left that when you left that career?
I kind of haven't been doing too much of that. I was doing crypto for a while, and then, that all went downhill for a while. Obviously now it's coming back up, and it's just like gambling. So
well, crypto to me, this is a personal opinion. Obviously, a lot of people probably disagree. I don't like the idea of crypto because I feel like it's not real. Yeah. Because all crypto is essentially created. Like when you buy a stock, you're buying into a company that exists. Right. So there is the stock itself, you're not getting like an actual like certificate, although they used to issue stock certificates. But now it's like, but like crypto to me seems you're buying into something that would like Bitcoin. There's not a coin that you get. Right. It's just, I own who decides how you create more? And they're like, well, they can't create more. Well, how come? They created something from nothing. Yeah, so it's like the Hokta girl or something. Yeah. That she's just now created that coin, and now she scammed everybody. I don't really know the details behind that. I don't either, but that's the thing. It's like anybody can create a crypto, or an NFT or something like that. Right. That doesn't really exist. And I'm just like, I don't know. Whereas like real estate is something that exists. You're buying a structure. You're buying land. You're buying something that's real. Yeah. So I don't know. But that's me. Yeah. I've got a few investments, and it's definitely something as I grow my career, I definitely will do more real estate for sure. It's hard though, because the thing with real estate is obviously you've got rates. You've got I just moved from Florida, so homeowners insurance there like 400% over 3 years with not one. I mean, it's getting to be where your homeowner's insurance payment is as expensive as your mortgage. Yeah. So it's challenging. It's everything. And being a landlord, COVID really scared me with a lot of that because I saw all the people that were going in and just renting and staying and squatting and all that kind of stuff. So that always scares me. Well, and there was the rent freeze too, where they made it so that, you don't have to pay for however many months. And you're like, well, the landlords are probably not going to be happy about that.
Yeah, people were losing their houses because they were having renters in there and they couldn't pay their mortgage because they weren't paying them. So yeah, that's a challenge. I mean, you've got people that are just trying to like make a little extra by having like one little house, but they're definitely relying on a renter to be able to pay their bills. So.
Well, and I think there's this misconception that all landlords are like these, greedy slumlord type people that are just exploiting tenants and stuff like that. And it's like, no, a lot of these people, and I've met them where, again, they own maybe 1, 2, 3 properties, and that's it. And that's their income from the rent that they're getting. Maybe it's a multifamily, 4-unit building. Right. And that's all they have. And it's like they need them to pay.
Absolutely.
Because they have their own bills to pay. It's not like their own. It's not like, there was the previous owner of the Clippers, Donald Sterling, who, had to sell because he got into hot water with comments that he made. But he was more like that slumlord where he owned big apartment tenements and, basically that were falling apart, and he was not doing anything and just kind of getting the rents. Yeah. And that happened a lot, especially like in LA, I've heard, and especially during COVID, because think about it, like even if you do want to fix something, people didn't want to go in people's houses to fix things. People didn't want to let people in their houses to fix things, but everybody wanted to complain that stuff wasn't getting done. So I saw a lot of that because I did do some real estate financing and I did work on some projects in LA. So I saw a lot of that. Yeah. And it was kind of like, what do you do? And there was a lot of lawsuits. Well, and it's sad because there's areas of LA, like around USC, where there are these old Victorian homes from like the early 1900s or stuff, where they used to be, and then they were chopped up into like 4 units, but you see they're all like falling apart, and you're just like, man, why doesn't anybody want to take care of that and make it look better? But as you just said, maybe the people living there don't want that. Maybe the landlords don't really care, because if they're getting paid, it doesn't matter. So anyway. Sorry it's just, this is my first opportunity to really talk to someone who's been in that world. Yeah. Because most of the time people that start in the adult industry started like dancing, they started, whereas you basically did a hard pivot from one career. Like you didn't even soft approach it. It was more like,
I don't really know what I was thinking, but
well, I was going to say,
here I am. But the thing is though too, is, you can't really go back. Once it's out there, it's out there. So, I'm kind of finding my way. The fortunate thing is that my career has just really taken off. The wintertime is definitely a slow time as far as like studio shoots and things like that. So I'm trying to find a balance as far as content creation, studio shoots, that kind of thing. But
so when did you start thinking about you were still a VP when you started thinking like, hey, maybe this is something I want to try?
Yeah, but I pretty much did a hard stop and I said, I'm done. I've got to be able to focus on this full time. And so I want to say I did my first pro shoot in May.
Okay, so not too long ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when did you quit or did you resign?
Yeah,
Okay.
I resigned. It was like February.
Because I feel like when you're high enough, you resign.
Yeah.
When you're low enough, you quit.
Yeah. No, I resigned.
But yeah. And when did you do that?
February.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was a turnaround of a few months. Now, had you already lined up like what you were going to do?
Nope.
You just quit, and then so was there a period
I had
where like
started like an OnlyFans page. I had just started it, but that was it. I didn't really know anything about anything as far as like I knew there was OnlyFans, and that's pretty much all I knew. And so I got an agent and started doing some bookings in Florida because I live there, and it kind of just took off from there. But that's kind of what brought me out to Vegas. Is just there wasn't a ton of shoots in Florida, and flying across the country was really challenging to try to. And it's hard because you can't. Not everybody's booking like a week of shoots. It doesn't really work that way. You have to be here and available when stuff comes up last minute. It's very fly by the seat of your pants, which has probably been the going from the corporate world to the adult industry, knowing how last minute it is. It's very, I don't want to say wishy-washy, but it's just very, they don't know where you're going to shoot the next day. They don't have a location. And then there's other people involved too. So there's a lot of people that are, I don't want to say flaky because that's not the right word, but younger people for the most part.
A little more unreliable.
Yeah, stuff comes up. They just don't feel like it. I've heard a lot of, I just don't feel like shooting today. And it's like, okay, I didn't really, and just with talking with producers and directors when I'm on set, I'm like, oh, they really say stuff like that? They're like, yeah, stuff happens. It's just very, there was one girl coming from, I was in Vegas, this is before, I was on a shoot on a set, and there was a girl coming the next day from LA, and she was flying. And she didn't like the flight time. It was too early. And the flight time was like at 9:30. And they were like, well, you have to be able to get here and get on set to do makeup and stuff. And she was just, I just don't really want to, I want to go later. And they were like, we're not going to change the shoot time to 2:00 in the afternoon because you don't want to fly out at 9:30. So it was just, to me, that's just so silly. But I guess that happens. I don't know.
Yeah. So was that one of the most challenging differences between going from your previous career to this was, before it's like everybody, if you had a deadline, you knew that you had to get it done and that you had to be on the ball, and that if you did something like that, that could really cost you.
Absolutely. Like I would be going out, for example, like when I lived in Florida, I lived in Orlando. So most of the shoots are in, Fort Lauderdale or Miami or somewhere in between, which that's a big area. So it would be Sunday night and I would have a shoot on Monday. I didn't know where it was. I didn't know if it was in Fort Lauderdale. Didn't have an address is one thing. I didn't know what I needed to bring. So I am such a planner. I wanted to pack my suitcase and I want to make sure I've got all the right outfits and the right jewelry and the right this. And they just don't tell you. And so my agent was like, just bring stuff. You'll be fine. And that really was true. But I was so worried about it. I was like, what if they want me to have a red dress and I didn't bring a red dress? Or what if they want me to have blue heels and I didn't bring those? And usually, 9.9 times out of 10, what I had was fine and you may do with it. But I was just so worried because not knowing the industry that I wouldn't be prepared.
Yeah.
Or what if I booked my hotel in Fort Lauderdale and we're shooting in Miami at 8 a.m? I would have stayed there if I'd known where the shoot was going to be. So that kind of stuff was and that's still the way it is for the most part, but you make do.
Yeah. Well, and so how did you get that agent? Did they reach out to you on Instagram and stuff, or did you start putting feelers out like, hey, I'm looking to do more professional shoots? And how did that happen? I
had some friends that recommended somebody that was, because I was in Florida, recommended them as a Florida agent. And so I went with that for a little while. And then once I decided to kind of do more stuff in LA, I found someone that was a better fit for me. So
okay. And is it just like you approach them and then they look at what you've done, or they just look at pictures of you?
Just kind of sent them my stuff and kind of gave them my background and pictures and things like that. And they were like, oh yeah, we can get you shoots. I think the way it typically works is they kind of look at you and what you've done, and they kind of say, okay, I think I can book them. Knowing the producers and directors and the studios, they'd say, okay, you'd be a good fit. Like obviously I've got the MILF thing, you know, so
it helps.
yeah.
You're already starting in that category.
Right. I mean,
So-
I definitely like more than that. I enjoy like more feature stuff, stuff that has more dialogue and acting. I really like, so.
Okay, so you prefer more scripted stuff?
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. So I want to do more feature,
Mm-hmm.
longer. It's something that you kind of go build into as they kind of see that you can do that stuff. So
Yeah, because there's a little more involved
Yeah.
with being able to act and actually do lines as opposed to just doing a sex scene, just like, hey, we're gonna meet and have sex.
exactly, like with the gonzo, I guess what they call it. So
I mean, is it something like, do you like to role play? Is that why you are interested in you enjoy playing different kinds of characters?
I love playing different kinds of characters. I definitely don't want to be typecast just to the stepmom MILF thing. So I've got some stuff coming out that is more scripted. So it'll be really interesting to see. So hopefully, it's one of those ones. That's the other thing that is really challenging about the industry. You don't know when. You shoot a scene and you don't know when it's going to come out. Like for example, like the second scene I ever shot is not even out yet, and it's coming out the 19th. So
Wow.
yeah,
And
it
you
was
shot
crazy.
that when in like May?
So you sit there and part of you goes, is it ever going to come out? You don't really know. I wish there was some like database somewhere you could see but I don't know if the studios know. I think it's just, they look at your other stuff. They look at what works for them as far as the content and how backed up they are with, but I've had shoots that I did and they came out in like a week.
Yeah.
So it's just, you just never know. I think it's just if it fits their release schedule. So
Yeah, it's weird because I had another guest on and she was telling me how she had shot like 4 scenes for Brazzers at the time and none of them had been released and she had shot them a while ago. Now Brazzers has a lot of stuff that they do. So and they're releasing new scenes every day on their multiple sites. So I don't know how they organize whereas, you know, maybe if it's one of their contract stars like Angela White, her stuff will be put out there a lot faster because she's who she is.
Right.
Whereas, you know, so it's I get it. I have to imagine. But then now that's also why OnlyFans is probably a good, would you say that OnlyFans is your main source or supplemental for income?
Everything's supplemental. I wouldn't say I have like a main source for anything. It's all supplemental.
So multiple streams then. But can what you do on OnlyFans sustain you while you wait for more scenes to drop? Or is it? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And I haven't really been doing it that long. So, so now I need a bunch of new content because I'm a brunette.
Well, I was gonna
or redhead. I guess I'm a redhead, but
yeah. Well, and I was gonna say, like, do you think that your finance background helps in terms of you being able to know that to create passive revenue streams and other things like that, as opposed to again putting all onto one venture?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I'm still learning the industry as far as all the different ways. Like, I know that the camming is a big thing. I don't really do a lot of that. I want to do more of that, but there's so many. It's really hard. There's so many sites. There's Fansly and Loyal Fans, and then the camming sites. There's a million of those. So it's where to go, where to start, where to dip your feet in. Do you want to just get on there and cam for a couple hours, like Chatterbait or Cam Soda or whatever? So Cam Soda's fun because they actually book. I've done a couple live shows for them when they've actually booked me to come in and do a live show. So that's kind of fun. That kind of gets you going on their site, at least with people, the visibility and things like that. So.
Okay. So what was your first professional scene you ever did?
It was for, the MILF company in, they do the firsts.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh. The one in Arizona. I can't remember the name off the top of my head.
Is it MILF with MYLF or is it different?
MILF. I'll have to look it up, but I can't remember. Yeah, that was that was my very first one. And they only do your first scene. That's
okay.
So everybody on their site is just their first scene. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if it works for them, it seems like though, if you have a popular, you'd want to bring somebody back. But
they do. So they bring you back. Sometimes they bring girls back, rarely, but they'll bring you back to do first threesome or your first anal or your first.
All right.
Yeah. So I don't really do anal yet, but I'm working on it.
Okay.
I do relationship anal.
Okay. Oh, nice. Nice. And what was that experience like? Were you really nervous that first time?
I was really nervous, but they're really good. They make you feel comfortable. But I will say it was the longest scene I've ever shot.
Really?
So it was really long. Yeah, as far as like the
time it took to do it?
Yeah.
How long was it?
It was well, wasn't necessarily the time it took to do it, but the actual scene itself. So there wasn't really any it was probably an hour and a half of
just straight sex.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was a long time.
But there was not a lot, was there a lot of downtime in between the performing? It was like once you started, you just
pretty much
went
straight through. Yeah.
Okay.
So there wasn't really any, there was a quick little interview at the beginning, and then there was like a little shower scene at the end, and that's pretty their standard procedure. So yeah.
And what was it like to have sex for the first time as a performance as opposed to just for your own personal pleasure?
It was fun. I enjoy it. Like I love being on camera. The lights get really hot, and that particular one, because I think they filmed it in like 8K or something like that. It was really bright in there. So, but it was fun.
You're just like, I can't, focus.
I like personally, I like the way that was shot, and I like some more of the lifestyle, like, let's see, like My Pervy Family, and then there was another one I did that's more lifestyle focused, so they try to film straight through without stopping. I enjoy that better because I feel like it's more real.
Yeah.
And you can get into it more as opposed to stopping between. A lot of companies try their best to
make it continuous,
straight. Yeah, because they feel like it's going to be more
it's more natural.
More natural, yeah, and it's going to be more. You can get into it more as opposed to wait, stop, let's do doggy style. So
yeah,
wait, let's take some stills. So most of them a lot of them are, I feel like they'll go through the stills first. So then at least the positions they want you to get, and then whatever else you do is fine. That's director preference, I think. So some studios have a way that they do it. It just depends on how many different shots they want to get. So some of the studios that are going to be more produced and more edited, they want to stop and they want to get close-ups of dialogue and things like that. But they'll do the dialogue part first, and then you get into more of the scene stuff. So
yeah. Was it an interesting? Because I assume when you were a vice president, you were in a more dominant role in your work environment.
Yeah, but it was definitely more male. I mean, the industry that I was in was probably 85% males. So
yeah, but still, like if you're an executive, usually you've got people underneath you that you're that you're dictating what they're doing, and hopefully they're listening. Whereas was it kind of an interesting change to go to something where now you have to take the direction, you have to be like, you're brand new. So you're like, I need all the guidance that you can give.
You know what? It's funny though. I would have thought that, but I can go both ways as far as like submissive, dominant, and like on the bedroom front. So it kind of comes naturally to me. I think for me, I think the dominant stuff comes naturally, but I'm not a mean dominant. I'm more of like authoritative.
A soft one? Okay.
But it's kind of like, I'll give you what you need if you give me what I need. The submissive is a little more challenging for me because I don't like to just give it. I like it to be earned.
Okay. True. Was there anything that when you started doing adult work that you didn't anticipate that you were kind of surprised by that you liked? That might be kind of a
yeah, I mean, I like all of it. I like the new adventures. I like that person, like when I'm filming, that if you can get feedback, good feedback while you're, you can really get into the scene. I've found that comes, is really nice. But excuse me, so I love that. I love when you're getting feedback from someone that, someone that's vocal, feeding off that. Like that's such a turn on for me.
Yeah.
So that makes the scene great. When you get someone that's basically like radio silent the whole time, it makes it really hard.
Okay.
So yeah. So then I feel like I have to talk more, and then you realize, okay, I'm talking too much. Like in your head, you're like, okay, I'm too vocal. This isn't going to come across as genuine, but you feel like you have to compensate for that person that's not saying a lot.
Yeah. True.
So, I mean, I think we've all seen it in a porn, right?
Yeah. I mean, but then again, I guess depending on how people are, I don't know if the people that are viewing it want the male talent to be as vocal, or if they just want to focus on the woman and what she's doing. But I can understand that from a performance standpoint, because it helps to especially if you're still learning and you're still getting your porn legs, as I'll call it.
Yeah.
So before you got into the industry, did you see it? Like, did you view it in a certain kind of way before you started, and like you had certain ideas about it that when you started doing it, they were proven to be correct, or they proven to be incorrect?
I didn't really watch a ton of porn. I did watch some, like I watched the old like stuff, the old Wicked Pictures, like the more feature stuff, the Jessie Jane type. Those 90s
Yeah, Jenny
era.
Jameson and stuff like that. Yeah.
I mean, I watch that kind of stuff because I like more of the feature stuff.
Yeah, it's more artistic in a way.
Yeah,
more creative.
I like stuff that has some production. It's got some dialogue.
A story.
Not just but then again, the lifestyle stuff is fun for me too because I feel like that's real. I like stuff that seems realistic and real, like it could actually happen. And I think a lot of people do. Or then if you have a particular fetish, I don't do a lot of fetish stuff, but I'm not opposed to it. Like it's just a matter of what it is. So
yeah.
So,
well, I think the reason why a lot of feature stuff has kind of gone by the wayside is because now with the rise of just individual scenes on sites like Brazzers and everything, like now sometimes they'll have like you'll have 3-4 scenes that kind of you can put together to be a full film in their way. But I think they've done maybe a couple of like true actual features over their history.
Yeah.
But for the most part, doing the individual scenes, it's I don't know if just that's the business model now because like the old like Vivid, Wicked, like some of them don't even exist anymore.
Yeah.
And it's just to create a production of that size where you're like going on location, you're shooting, at a mansion. Yeah, no, it starts to add up.
Absolutely.
And now, I think companies from a financial standpoint, obviously, because every company, the goal is to have the lowest overhead and get the most profit.
Sure.
And it's like, well, we can either we can do this production for, $50,000 or $100,000, which maybe we'll get that back, or we can shoot a scene where it costs us, maybe $3,000 to $5,000 to shoot it.
Sure.
For paying the people, the location, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, hopefully there will be a resurgence of features. I mean, I would love to do huge boob features as a director or producer or something, just to kind of bring that back.
Absolutely.
But it's something that I've thought about. But like, so do you have any favorite scenes personally, like different companies, different, based on like the scenario, maybe the co-stars, stuff like that you've done?
Let me see. I love my scene with Naughty America that I did with Ryan Driller was a really hot scene. That was one that came out in like 7 days. I'm like, oh, it was probably pretty good. So maybe they released it. That was fun. And I liked that one because it wasn't it was kind of a real setup thing. It wasn't necessarily a stepmom thing. So I enjoy doing that. So that was kind of fun. I was like a Craigslist, like I went to buy a mattress kind of thing.
Oh,
so,
nice. Okay.
I mean, that kind of happened and had some acting in there. And it was we had good chemistry. So that was a really hot scene.
You know what's weird to me is like I feel like your background would have such fodder for creativity. Put you as a VP in a scene or put you as an executive. I mean, have you done anything like that?
Not really. I want to. I mean, I do.
Or would that be too weird to cross that?
It would be awesome. I was thinking about doing a series for my OnlyFans, and I probably will still do it, where I do like intern, like a multi-part, like with different episodes, where intern interviews kind of thing. So I'm thinking I'm going to do that because I definitely like putting on the suit and wearing the glasses. And
well, you could take you could do like a Big Short, like a riff on like The Big Short or like Wolf of Wall Street or something.
That would be cool. I love the parody angle.
Yeah, and actually Brazzers did do a thing. It was called like The Horror of Wall Street. Like 10 years ago. Yeah, like 10 years ago. And it was starring a performer named Danny Daniels. She played the Belfort character in it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I don't know if you could, I don't know if they still have it on their site because they premiered it basically around, after the movie came out and was a hit. But using that as kind of like your base as, again, like, to do that because I feel like you have the knowledge and the experience to actually play that kind of a character.
Yeah.
Authentically, as opposed to like you being like, so you could actually inform the script,
right?
Like, does this, So I'm just saying,
And I mean, there's so many things I want to do. Like, I'm a big golfer, so I want to do a golf something. I play tennis. I want to do that, horseback. I mean, there's all this stuff that I do in my personal life that I would love to because it would come naturally to me. So that's really important. Is just to kind of have something that that you do naturally. So I think it comes across well and comes across as something that, they just didn't stick this girl in there. Doesn't know how to hold a tennis racket.
Yeah. Well, I mean, have you thought about doing that for just your OnlyFans, or would you want a bigger production?
That kind of stuff is hard because outside stuff is
they
such
get
taboo.
they get dinged
So,
for it.
you know, even by my pool is hard because technically they don't like that because you have to be able, you could get your account pulled. So OnlyFans has gotten so strict.
Restrictive,
Some of the other sites aren't as strict. There's a new one called Subs, which I just put my account on. I haven't done much with it, but I guess it's the old person who started OnlyFans doing a new site, which doesn't have all the restrictions, but I don't know a lot about it yet. So
Okay.
it's, you know,
Well,
another site to be on and chat
I know.
with people.
It feels like it just gets to be so much.
There's not enough time now. I'm in Vegas. I gotta spend time gambling. So
Oh, really?
no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
It is fun though. It is hard here being here. Like you can do whatever you want, pretty much 24 hours a day.
Yeah, there's
So-
something to do.
Yeah, not a lot of sleep, but
No. Do you have any because you've worked with Naughty America, you've worked with Brazzers?
Brazzers, Team Ski. I have a Brazzers scene that's coming out. I don't know when it's coming out.
True. It's up in the air.
We'll see.
Are there any companies that you haven't worked for yet that you'd like to?
Gosh, there's a ton. I want to work with Vixxen Media Group more. So I want to do Blacked and I want to do
Milfy.
I want to do Slade. So I want to do that. I want to work with Adult Time. I want to work with New Sensations. There's just I just got a booking with Nubiles, so that's going to be in January. So that was one of the ones. I want to work with was it Girlfriend Films. I'd love to do stuff with Wicked, and there's just lots of companies I haven't worked with yet. So now that I'm, you know, just 2 months out here, unfortunately this is a slow time of the year, but there's so many that I want to work with. So
that's good. Well, and I'm sure that you're probably, I mean, whoever your agent is, I'm sure they're are they going to be booking you now for stuff like for January, February, March?
Yeah, Steph pretty much now is booking after the holidays. And AVN throws a real big wrench into everything. So you've got XMAs and you've got AVN. So there's not a lot of stuff being shot around then because people are there, people are in town, and there's so much stuff going around with those shows. So stuff kind of, the first couple weeks in January, and then stuff kind of starts going crazy after that, after those are over.
So all right, well, and yeah, I'm sure that it'll pick up because once all the awards stuff. Which, speaking of which, I was told that you got an XBiz nomination for favorite new performer. How was how was that when you find out?
It was awesome. It was super exciting. I was actually out at the Bellagio, and I wasn't even really looking at the thing. And a couple people texted me, and my PR guy texted me, and I said, "Oh my gosh, you're kidding!" So that's super exciting. It's the fan favorite favorite new performer. So it was super exciting to be nominated for that. So something that the fans put you up for, and the fact that I've only been in industry not even a full year.
Yeah.
So it's always interesting to me though, the people that are in that category that have been in the industry for years. I don't really know if there's like what new means, but just some of the girls that I'm up with it's an honor. So
nice. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna and when is that happening? When is that award show?
That is in January. I think it's like this. It's during the XMAs, so it's like the 17th, 18th. Yeah, because so those are in LA, like the second week in January, like whatever that 17th, the 17th to the 23rd, and then AVN here in Vegas is like that following week.
Yeah, and so are you planning on going to both?
Yes, I will be at both. So.
Okay, and those will be your first time going to both.
Yes. First time. I've gone to like XBiz before, but they do like different ones. But this is their big one.
Yeah.
That is the award show. So.
Okay. And will this be your first AVN?
Yes.
Okay.
First AVN.
Are you going to be excited for that?
It's going to be super fun. Yeah. I've got a lot of different booths that I'm signing at between at the AVN booth. I think there's a couple toy companies, my agency Envision. I'm trying to think what else. There's a few different ones and then some of the studios that I've shot with. You kind of do time slots and everybody rotates around. So yeah. Crazy. This next month, trying to figure out the schedule and trying to do all that will be crazy. And I need some new outfits. So
I'm sure. Maybe some fans can help with that.
I would love that. I love Honey Burdette. So come on, guys.
Do you have like a fan wish list or that where they can?
Yeah, I have that on my OnlyFans and then on my All My Links page. So I need to update that though.
Okay. And so and would you say that you have any personal professional goals for 2025?
Gosh, I just want to shoot with as many studios as I can. That's really, I want to get out there. I want to do as many features as I can. I want to start doing more dialogue stuff. So that's really my goal. I want to do, really haven't done anything. I've done like a girl-boy threesome, but I want to do a boy-girl. I mean, I've done that from content. I've done that in my personal life a lot. I haven't done it for studio.
Yeah.
Definitely going to do anal. Just don't know where, when. Want to do a gangbang.
Okay.
Also don't know where or when. So there's lots of stuff I want to do that I'm open to doing. So yeah, we'll see.
Well, and has doing this work kind of allowed you to explore? Because it's not like because I kind of want to save, because I want to have you back and we can save the lifestyle stuff, because I really want to get deep into that, but I don't want to just leave like 5 minutes for that.
Sure.
But has doing adult work allowed you to do certain things that you weren't able to before in your personal life, or were you able to really kind of, you've been able to do a lot in your personal life and then do stuff on camera?
I feel like, it gives you more, I would say, confidence in your personal life to do stuff. I definitely learned a lot as far as like all kinds of like, practice makes perfect, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
I've honed my blowjob technique. I think it's getting pretty darn good,
Well, would that differ from because I mean, obviously, like if you know how, say, your husband likes it, it's like, okay, that's one. But then obviously, I don't know if every guy's different in terms of what kind of technique that they enjoy.
I think everything's about trying new things. The lifestyle too. You learn certain things. I think the porn the mainstream stuff definitely makes you step out of your comfort zone to get into the scene, put on a good show, and just make it as hot as possible. And so I think that doing that, you bring that back to your personal life. Whereas maybe it's not relationship sex at night. Maybe, you do the full porn experience. So that stuff's kind of fun. It's fun doing that. Like, learning new things to say, but also stuff like in scenes, that I might say that I can tell really turns the guy on. So that's kind of fun, just having that experience and then being like, oh, I had no idea that would be such a turn on for a guy or whatever. So that stuff's fun.
So what was it like watching yourself when you first started doing it? Was it interesting? Was it
I don't like to
weird?
watch myself.
You don't? Okay, you don't? Okay, so you're
I
one of those.
do, because I do watch myself. I haven't seen all my scenes, but I do watch myself just because watching myself, I'll watch a scene and be like, why did I say that so much? That doesn't even make sense. I didn't even realize in the moment that I was, or that was really hot, or, you might be able to not pick up something when you're filming, but then when you watch it, you're like, oh, that was hot. I thought that was hot, or I can tell he thought that was hot. Or you getting feedback from the fans, like what they like and what they don't like.
So more from an analytical standpoint.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So as opposed to like, oh, I actually get turned on watching myself do stuff.
I will say though, like my first VR scene that I watched with like the Oculus, it was totally weird. It was really neat. If you haven't ever watched porn in VR, oh, you have to.
Okay.
Get the first couple minutes where, if you're not used to VR, like you kind of gotta, you're got to be sitting down. You can't be walking around.
Yeah.
But man, it is really cool. It feels like I really felt like I was fucking myself.
Interesting.
I was right there. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
It was fun filming. I enjoyed filming it. I just filmed a Naughty America VR scene.
Okay.
That's not out yet. That's going to be really hot too. So hopefully.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And I assume that there's a lot of performers that you have a long list of that you want to perform with.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so many. I did a collab with Manuel Ferreira, so that was just a collab though. So that's not out soon, but that'll be out soon. Yeah. But I definitely want to work with him studio. J Mac, Johnny Sins, Jason Love.
Yeah.
And then girls wise, all the MILFs. I want to work with Rochelle Ryan. I want to work with Penny Barber and Shay Seitz and Reagan Fox, and then I want to work with Dan Dangler. There's just so many.
It's hard. It's hard to
many that I want to work with.
Well, and being here is helpful because there's a lot. They either live here or they live in LA, which they're close to.
Right.
Whereas it seems like the pool in Florida, even though there are companies, it seems a little smaller.
It definitely is a lot smaller. So, and you kind of, when people come out, it was really hard because I lived in Orlando, so it wasn't like there was any shooting there. So I'd have to go down.
Downtown Disney
things.
Can't do that.
No. Disney didn't really like filming porn there.
Yeah. I feel like that. Yeah.
They're not that woke.
Right. Yeah. They're not that open to that kind of stuff.
Right. It would be nice. That would be actually really cool. You could actually probably get away with filming like the dialogue part there. Like,
that would be.
It might be a little tough, but you could probably do a fun collab, something like just to kind of get some, because people film all the time. They wouldn't know what you're filming.
As long as you didn't get into certain things. But I don't know if there's be a way that you could make it so that, something, because obviously, I wouldn't want to mess with that legal department.
No, I wouldn't either.
Because that's a juggernaut of a.
And you couldn't put it on OnlyFans anyway, because you couldn't.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't let you.
Although
But-
I don't know how it works with not doing like nude. So like if you just filmed stuff outside, but as long as people weren't in it, you might be able to get away with that. As long as there wasn't any nude parts. But they're weird about stuff. Like you can't even have an animal. Like if I would be filming something by my pool and a dog would run by, one of my dogs, they
Well, I think, and as long as you didn't get anything like a trademarked image or like anything that they could be, like almost a branding, like what they call E&O insurance for like productions, errors and omissions. Like if you accidentally see a brand that didn't give you permission to feature them, which, unfortunately porn tends to not allow a lot of product placement.
Yeah. Well, and even stuff that's very brand. So like I was doing a shoot and I had my shoes for the pictures had red bottoms on them. They weren't Louboutins, but they had red bottoms on them. And they were like, oh no, you have to change. Like you can't even have red bottom shoes because then Louboutin will think that like they can't have their stuff in porn. I'm like, but they're not Louboutin.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But there's still enough that there might be that question.
Yeah. I didn't realize I even had like on all my lifestyle stuff, I always have like a TV on, or you can't even have that stuff. Like it's or even like music playing in the background.
Yeah, because copyright.
Because I would dance a lot. I would do like a little strip tease at the beginning in like my regular lifestyle stuff. And I I have to be real careful about using that. So
yeah, no, that's not surprising. So I'd like to finish up with some boob talk if you'd like.
Boob talk is great.
Now do you have implants?
Yes.
Okay. So first off, what size are they?
They're like a 34, like double D. It's sometimes they're kind of between a double D and a triple D, but usually like a double D. Yeah.
Okay. And when did you get your implants?
I've had these since 2018.
Okay. So you had them in your corporate job.
Yes.
Interesting.
I did.
Was that something that you thought, like when you got them done, that was this going to affect my job, or did you not really think? Like
I didn't really care. I mean, I definitely had to worry about what I wore, but I always pushed the boundaries.
Okay. Like I'm because again, like that's one thing that I don't know if you wanted certain attention or you were hoping. So why is it that you wanted bigger boobs?
I was in lifestyle, so that was just kind of, I always wanted them. I had them before, so this was my second set.
Oh, really?
They weren't as big. It was like a regular D before. So yes, I mean, just to figure wise, me personally, I would have had them regardless of porn or regardless of lifestyle, but it's just something I wanted for me. So
you just always liked bigger boobs?
Absolutely. I never really had, I was like a B before, like naturally. I think a lot of girls are like that size, but I worked out a lot, so I didn't really have a lot going on there.
Like, would you see women with bigger boobs and you're like, oh, I like those and I want stuff like that?
I love big boobs. I know a lot of girls like nowadays are kind of steering away from it, but I don't think it's ever going to go away.
No, it never will.
Yeah.
I hope not.
Yeah, me either. I'm not taking mine out. That's for sure.
Do you know how many cc's they are?
Yeah, they're 695.
Okay.
Yeah, and I only know that because I had to go look them up to see, because I was going to get mine redone, which I still am going to. I just got to find the right doctor. I need a hot plastic surgeon to contact me that wants to redo them.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, do you want to stay at that size, or are you thinking about going bigger?
A little bit bigger, not like crazy big, but like probably like a size bigger. I want to go to like probably like 850.
Okay.
I want them just to fill out a little bit more.
Sure.
Fill out and fill up.
So the super size doesn't really interest you?
No.
Okay.
I work out and stuff like that, so I've got to be. I haven't been running a lot, but I do like to run. So I don't want something that's going to get
that'll be impeding to activities.
Yeah.
So
that's probably about as big as I can go. So
okay.
And I, honestly, like for me, I like the attention of the boob, but I don't want the gawking. I like to be able to tone it down if I want to, depending on where I'm going and what I'm doing,
Yeah. Whereas if they're at a certain size, you can't hide them anymore, and they're just always going to be out.
Exactly.
Unless you wear like a giant, like sweater or something.
Exactly.
Which might not be the most flattering look.
Right.
So, do you have a favorite thing about having big boobs that you like?
Well, the attention's great. Don't get me wrong. I still like to kind of put on that little bit of a classy image, which is why I don't like to go too big. So, and obviously the roles, MILF and stuff like that, they can't be so huge. It's
distracting.
But yeah, the attention's great. It definitely has helped me in, I think, both my professional career as well as both professional careers, Plus, it's fun in my personal life.
Yeah. Did they give you, like, when you first got, did you feel like a confidence boost after you got them?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
I mean, yeah. I spent
I mean,
a lot of time.
you seem like a very confident person naturally.
Thank you.
But
I have
maybe
my moments.
Well, I don't know if that's just a product of the job environment that you were at, because I assume, when you work certain jobs, you need confidence in yourself to be able to go higher. Because
Absolutely.
If you're insecure about it, then you're not going to put yourself out there to potentially get noticed or get promoted. But, boobs are kind of an instant boost.
Yeah. I mean, and it definitely helped me. I mean, being, when I'm in front of people for business type stuff in my former professional life, I mean, I'm not dumb. I know.
No.
I know it helps me, not only get in the door, but stay in the door a little bit.
Yeah.
If you could say.
Yeah.
So, especially in an industry that's 85% male. Now,
yeah.
The flip side to that is there's the females in the industry, and for the most part, females in corporate America are extremely threatened by other females for the most part, and especially someone that has big boobs. You get that stigma that some of the guys might give you, but definitely getting from the women.
Well, it's one thing to just be good at your job. It's another thing to be attractive and being good at your job, because then you're adding, another element that somebody can be jealous of you for, which you'd think that people could put that away in a professional environment, but unfortunately we're human and we are who we are.
Yeah.
So was there a noticeable change after you got your boobs? Like did people treat you differently? Did they look at you differently at your job?
Maybe a little bit. I think people don't really understand, like, why are you getting boobs, but I didn't really make a big deal out of it. I think I didn't really talk about it with people, but I think people noticed but it wasn't a huge difference because I was a D before.
Yeah.
So I went from like D to like double D. That's why I want, and in my corporate job, I mean, I'd push the envelope a little bit, but I wasn't wearing like super low cut, but I mean, I did wear a lot of tight fitted stuff. So it was pretty obvious.
Okay. So, well, and it's, I have to imagine that I don't think that there's any regulations like you can't do that for it. Like they can't say, oh, you can't draw more attention to yourself physically as long as you're wearing what, appropriate attire.
Right.
Business appropriate attire.
I was pretty careful. I mean, I thought I was pretty careful, probably less careful than I should have been as far as some of the females were concerned, but
yeah. So, So, like, do you have a favorite thing that you like being done to them? Like playing wise.
Yeah, I love like my nipples being pinched, like bit on. I like biting, pinching.
Hard or soft?
Pretty hard. I mean, you can go pretty hard. Like,
okay, because some people are more sensitive.
No, they're not super sensitive. I mean, they're sensitive in a good way, but like if I'm coming, like just give it a pinch like that.
Okay, that's good.
I love it. All
right. Did they get more sensitive when they got bigger?
Not necessarily. What's funny is that I think when I had them before, I think they were less sensitive. And then when I got them redone, it was like they were sensitive again. So I don't really know how that works, but I was like, yes.
Okay. Well, and it's funny because it seems like with boobs, it can go either way. Like you either lose sensitivity, gain sensitivity.
Yeah. I was pleasantly surprised.
So I'm sure the first time when you like wore a bikini or something and saw them and you're just like, hey.
I know. I was like.
Pretty amazing.
Pretty amazing. It's not fun having to buy all new bras, but
Yeah. But and it's like, did you get like a whole new wardrobe for them, or was it
wardrobe, so to speak? But it definitely enabled me to wear things I wasn't able to wear before. But sometimes it's really hard finding stuff that, like, if you're small, like that's small enough on the body, like a dress, but that your boobs will fit in enough, and they don't have to fit in that good, but just a little bit.
Yeah. True. Well,
enough to go to the casino.
Well, do you like to be kind of showy with them at times?
I do. I love it. Although I will say, like, walking through the rodeo the other night, I was like feeling all the women just like hate.
That's surprising because I feel like some of them would also have big fake boobs too.
Some of them do, but obviously being in Vegas, you get that, oh, I know what she is kind of thing, So
yeah,
I felt that a lot, but I've learned to definitely not care as much as I used to. Like, you put me in a scenario that's not vanilla, I'm great. Like, you put me in a scenario like that where it's as vanilla as you get. Sometimes, like, the guys aren't a problem. It's just the women that can be like little haters.
Yeah. Well, and you were telling me before we started that you got into some trouble because you brought them out for to say hi, and what happened with that?
I was playing blackjack, and these guys were at the table, and they were like, "Hey, I'll give you $100 if you just give me a flash." And I was like, "Sure." It was just that quick, and it wasn't even that big of a deal. No one said anything. We just went back to playing. That was it. And I was in the same casino like a week later. I was playing blackjack, and I get a little tap on my shoulder. They were like, "Ma'am," and they came over, and the guy was such an asshole. Like it was a guy and a girl. She was nice, but he was such a dick. And they were like, "You need to leave. You need to leave." And I'm like, I was just playing blackjack. And they were like, "It happened a week ago." And they were like, "We need to escort you out." And I'm like,
wow.
Escort me out for showing? I was like, there was a UFC fight that night, and a guy was like in a full knockdown brawl with some other guy, and they just walked him out like it was no big deal. And I said, "Well, can I come back?" They're like, "Yeah, you can come back. You just have to leave right now." And I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So
that is weird. Like it's one thing to get banned like permanently, because at least you'd feel like, okay, that's weird, but all right. But then you're like, if I can just come back, why do I have to leave now?
Yeah, this particular casino is known for being very strict. I've been in there multiple times when people are just cussing at the table, playing like all guys do, right? And I've seen people get walked out because they were
getting too aggressive.
They were cussing too much, just being a little. But I've also seen people in there just harassing the dealers, and they're fine, just being mean. And I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get their rules, but I'm learning.
But you were telling me, because you like to wear sheer outfits.
Yep.
That you had an instance where somebody thought that, like, what was that?
So I didn't realize when I left the house how sheer my top was. It was like a long sleeve, but it had like rhinestones on it, but you could just see right through. I mean, you could see everything.
Was it black?
It was like nude, but it had like little studs.
Okay.
And so we went to one of the clubs at one of the casinos, and we were going through the line, and they were like, "Ma'am, you're gonna have to change
Cover
your
up.
top or put some." Luckily, I brought pasties in my purse because I had a feeling.
Got to be prepared.
Every time I wear a shelf, I always wear a sheer top. I will bring pasties, but they were like nude pasties. So I went to the bathroom, put them on, and I came back and I said, "Is this okay?" You couldn't see anything. I mean, you see around my boob.
Yeah. The outline.
It looked like I just had no nipples or areolas, right?
Yeah.
And so they were like, "Oh, that's totally fine. You're fine." Because there's nothing wrong with showing like cleavage, because that's really what it was. It's basically under boob and cleavage. And so he said, fine. We went in, and the second I got to the elevator, a female security guard was like, "Yeah, no, you have to leave." And I'm like, that security guard right there, 3 of those guys told me it was fine. She was like arguing with them, and then I got stopped twice more that night in the club and I'm like, you can't see anything.
That's crazy.
It's just, these Vegas is.
Yeah, it's an interesting kind of contradiction, because people come here thinking that it's everything is acceptable, and it's not. It's not like going to it'd be one thing to go to, I don't know if you've ever heard of the hedonism resort in Jamaica.
Oh yes, been there many times.
Okay, and we can talk about that unfortunately another time. But I'm sure there you could probably, I don't know if it's, I think, do they have you can walk, is it nude allowed?
It depends on, so in the clubs, certain clubs are, I think you have to be covered, like certain clubs, but I think most of them are topless, but there's every club has a rule, but I mean, there's the whole nude side where you have to be naked over there.
Yeah.
You have to be, like, you can have your towel around you, but you better not have anything underneath it, because like if you can't even walk over there and like take your like you have to be, there's a line and you cross it, you better be nude.
Yeah. So, but it's just funny how Vegas has this, Sin City reputation, but it really is.
Your ass can be hanging out. It's the top. It's this. So
because you see people leaving the day clubs and they're all wearing G-strings and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's totally fine. So,
but anyway, but Taylor, well, I just want to say thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you had a great time.
I had a great time.
And I hope you want to come back someday.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And to all of you out there in Huge Boob Land, we will see you next time. Bye.